Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our pre-match press conference to preview our game against Leeds United. We'll start off with Finny from Sky.
David, first of all, can we start with Jack Grealish? What more can you tell us about the injury that he sustained, and is the concern for him that this really puts paid to his hopes of breaking into the squad for the World Cup as well?
Well, it's not for me to give the timescales, and we've not got it yet from the doctors. But he's got a stress fracture in his foot. That's all I can tell you.
How big a blow is that, though, for you guys here?
It's a big blow because he's been hugely important to us since the start of the season. He's played a big part in the team. But look, we've had a few injuries, but this is a big blow to us, yeah.
Is the plan for him to stay with you, though, and go through his recovery that way?
Yeah, we're in close contact with Manchester City, so we'll see how that works as we go along and we get more decisions from the specialist.
What impact, if any, does it have on any future plans to make his move here permanent?
Well, we're not thinking about it at the moment. We're only thinking about Jack. You know, we're upset for Jack and disappointed that he's got an injury.
What impact, though, potentially does it have on the need to bring in attacking reinforcements in this window, albeit you're obviously getting Illiman and Dye back from the African Cup of Nations?
Well, that'll add to our thinking, that's for sure. You know, getting them's a different story, but it'll add to our thinking. Is there anything out there which we think we could we'd possibly consider? But at the moment, we're just waiting till we get the assessment back from the specialist, and then we'll know more.
Can you just check on Beto? There's been talk of Fenerbahce coming in for him. Do you know anything about that?
No, nothing about it at the moment, no.
I'm guessing with the attacking options that you have, that you wouldn't be prepared to let anyone go at the moment as well.
No, we wouldn't, because we've not got enough. But no, don't know anything about it.
You've got Illy, though, and Idrissa back from AFCON. How ready are they to get back into things now?
Well, I've only walked in the building about half an hour ago, so I can only tell you that I knocked a window at them and shouted out at the window at them, but nothing else. So I've not had the chance to greet them and say congratulate them. So they've just arrived back, really.
What did you shout at them?
They couldn't hear me, thank goodness, through the glass. What kept you getting back? Yeah.
So I take it, though, they'll be assessed over the next couple of days ahead of that game.
Yeah, they're not. They've been assessed by the sort of the fitness team and the medical team.
What has Harrison Armstrong's performances done to your plans as to whether or not he goes back out on loan?
Well, he had his best game for us at Aston Villa, that's for sure, and stepped up. I think, like any player, whether it be an overseas player or a young player, sometimes it can take a few games to get used to the Premier League as well and get used to the games. But Harrison's done a brilliant job since he came in. I still would like to give him back to Preston if it's right, but if I can't and I need him here, I'll more than do that. I think that I've got to make sure that I want to get him games. I don't want him sitting on the bench. And if I thought that I was going to have him sitting on the bench all the time, then I would probably send him back.
It's a difficult balance, I suppose, because the competition for place is good. When we see the performances that the whole midfield put in against Aston Villa, for instance.
Absolutely. We're just beginning to get some players getting more likely to come back in and around the squad. But again, it only takes one injury and then we could be struggling again. So it'll probably be a late decision, before the deadline, before we make that decision.
Does this one come too soon for Kieran and Dewsbury Hall, and whereabouts is Jared Branthwaite?
Jared Branthwaite, Kieran Dewsbury Hall back training, but Kieran's just back in. Charlie Alcaraz is back in training. Obviously Jared's just back in training as well. So they're certainly getting much closer to it, that's for sure.
And as you look to build on that result against Aston Villa as well, what kind of a test are you facing? And I'm thinking in particular as well of the form that Dominic Calvert-Lewin's showing, 8 goals in his last 10 Premier League games. And I know you didn't get that much of an opportunity to really work with him because of the injuries that he had while he was here.
Well, I think Leeds United have got a good team. I think they had at the start of the season. I watched them quite a lot last year in the Championship, and when they played really well when they were getting promoted. So they've added to it, they've strengthened, that's for sure. And I think Leeds are a good team, and certainly in good form at the moment. And look, we look forward to seeing Dom. We just didn't quite able to sort of make things work in whether it was us to keep him or whether it was Dom to stay, one or the other. But he's certainly got his fitness back anyway and scoring goals.
Thanks, Vinny. We'll go to Fraser at Premier League Productions.
Hi there.
Hi, David. How much credit do you give to Daniel Farke, having started the season with a pretty rigid formation and then halfway through the game against Manchester City, he changes it all around, and suddenly they're starting to find a lot of success.
Very good, because it's, in management you have to find ways of winning, and sometimes when you're not doing so well, you need to find other ways of getting results, and I think he's done that. He's got some good players at Leeds United. They certainly have, and his change of style and system has certainly helped him.
I'm just moving on from the Villa game. I know you're very keen to see just how well you can perform as a team overall this season and your overall ambitions, but moving past that 30-point barrier, does it feel pleasing at this stage in the season to have that one at least ticked off?
No, it does. It's another step forward. 40 points was always the numbers which were branded about you have to get to be safe. So I think over many years in the Premier League it's not quite been those numbers, but I certainly think that once you're starting to get over the 30s, then we're starting to look up and how many points can we achieve and gain. But so tight, the Premier League, it could easily flip, so you've got to be careful what you say. I wish we could make Europe, or I could be high in the league, but you've also got to watch that, looking over your shoulder isn't that far away either.
Thanks, Fraser. We'll go to Julia at Radio Merseyside.
Thank you.
Hi, Julie.
Leeds was the first game of the season for you. How do you assess your progress now you face them again? Where do you see you've sort of got to for now?
Well, I think we've stepped up. I think some of the players have made big contributions to us who've come in. Certainly helped us. I think the team's improved greatly in many ways. It really has. But also, the sort of stalwarts who've been here for a long time: Tarkey, Jordan, Michael Keane, Mikolenko. A lot of those ones have stood up over the period and probably improved this first half of the season. So we hope to remain that way. Pretty pleased in a lot of things. Always thinking, hey, might only be 3 or 4 points away from being in a really good position. But also you could look at the other way and say you might only be 3 or 4 points away from being too close at the bottom end. So hopefully we can keep it going, and as I said, I hope we get a couple of opportunities where we could maybe break into the top echelons as the season goes on. So Monday night might give us another big opportunity to try and step up again.
When you've been away from home this season, your record, nobody can beat the away record of Everton right now. What is the difference between home and away form? Have you been able to pinpoint that?
I can understand. You've got to remember, first of all, it's a big change moving to a new stadium and new surrounds. All those things make a big difference. And I don't at any time underestimated what that would be like. At the start of the season, we started brilliantly well. But also, there's a responsibility. We want to play better. We want Everton to look better. I want Everton to win all the games, and it doesn't really matter to me how we do it, but we also want to try and do it with a bit of style if we can. I think having the likes of Jack Grealish, Ellie, Kieran Dewsbury Hall have given us a different style, different look. But once you lose your better players, then we've found it a bit difficult to try and keep up the levels. So that's something we need to try and find a way of, that we don't drop so much when we lose those sort of important players to us.
How have you, as a manager, been juggling that? Because it feels like sometimes at the moment you get one back and then another one's out. It's sort of one step forward, one step back with the availability of players. For you as a manager, how is that to deal with?
I've got to say, I found January really difficult. Probably since we played well at Chelsea but lost. And then on that day we lost Ellie in Ghana to the African nations. We also lost Kieran Dewsbury Hall to a hamstring injury on that day. And really since that point it felt as if we've been losing players as we've gone along. By the way, some for our own fault. Sending offs were our own fault, nobody else to blame but ourselves. But the other parts of it are like the injuries which we picked up. Charlie Alcaraz then picks up an injury as well, and before we know it we're running into, we get sending offs etc. with Jack and Keno. So it's been a difficult month, I have to say, and I'm glad we've pulled a couple of really big results out the bag because we've needed it. And in some of the games maybe we expected to do more, say Wolves at home or maybe Burnley away. The likes of Burnley are showing how well they're doing, and Wolves as well are showing how well they're doing. So there's a little bit of maybe the timing and when you play teams in the Premier League, and are you playing them at a good time or a bad time? And I think that's really important as well.
When you mentioned Villa before and sort of how players have been stepping up again this season, James Garner's one that's been mentioned in here a lot. He got the player of the match in the Villa game. You were seen speaking to the England manager afterwards. Firstly, where is his contract situation up to, if you can lift any information on that? But also, what did you say? Was it about James Garner?
I told Thomas that James was Scottish, really. And I would be surprised if he could play for England.
You checked it,
Yeah,
you've been looking.
so I was looking. His name sounds Scottish, so it's so that was it. But no, like just with a chat about a few things. He's been at a couple of games where we've won narrowly, so he's a wee bit of our club mascot at the moment.
And just James's contract as well, is that coming on?
Yeah, things are moving on.
Lovely. Thank you, good luck.
And Julia will go to Carl at the Press Association.
Hi, David.
Hi, Carol.
Just sorry to go back to Jack and stuff. And I know you said you haven't got, been given a timescale yet, but have you?
We've not been given the from the specialist yet. We've not had all the information back from the specialist yet.
Have you got a best case scenario to try and look on the positive side in terms of?
No.
Because there's been some wild speculation that it could be up to 3 months, which obviously would take.
No, I wouldn't say anything here at the moment, and I wouldn't speculate, and I wouldn't put any numbers to it. No.
Okay. And in terms of the two Senegal lads who are back, I'm just wondering what impact that can have on the squad when you've got two players who have won a major tournament, and obviously there are probably many players in the squad who have experience of winning tournaments. So what can they bring from their experience?
I think having winners in and around your club, people who are involved in teams that get to finals and come through competitions and do so. But I hope that it helps. I think the experience with the likes of Ghana's got the experience already in and around the dressing room, but I think Ellie will learn and see a lot from it as well. I want players who want to be in finals and do well and hopefully get us as high up the league as we can. So hopefully they both come back playing well and fit and healthy to go.